Well, joining me now in the pregame show is Coach Danny Servance of the Ellison Eagles, also known as Danny Servance, depending on who you talk to. Coach, wonderful having you out at Raising Cane's on Tuesday night and getting to talk with you and about your kids and your program and everything. Thanks for coming out, man.
Tell you what, I really enjoyed it. It was fun, and I'll do it again.
That free chicken's pretty good, isn't it?
That free chicken is pretty good.
Well, let's go back to last week's ball game and talk about it a little bit. I know it was a tough one for you. You really wanted to get that victory, and if things didn't work out for KISD, it was a bad week for us.
You know, it really was. Like I said, we thought we had a really good plan going in, and defensively, you know, for the majority of the ball game, we really did a great job of limiting them on offense, and you know, we just couldn't generate, you know, any offense. Their defense is pretty good, to their credit. They're tops in the district, and there's a reason that they are.
Yeah, they are. They're big too. That offensive line was huge. It seemed they were doing all the right things, and they're on a run right now. After losing those first games, they've played pretty well.
Yeah, you know, they really have. They got some kids back that were injured earlier in the year. I think they still don't have their starting signal caller back.
Yeah.
But they've improved every week that they've played on both sides of the ball. And, you know, like I said, that's a credit to them and Coach Rogers and their coaching staff.
If you're doing pretty good with the quarterback when he gets healthy, does he have to be really, really good to bring him back out there, or you just keep rolling with the guy you got?
I think when you got a guy that dynamic, you're going to bring him back out there if you can get him back, you know, in time for the playoffs. You know, I think he's the type of guy that can change the dynamics of a game, so you won't keep that guy on the sideline.
Well, of course, you've got a tough contest with Toby's guys. They're banged up like you are. It's been a tough year for them, but it's going to be a heck of a ball game. You're so well matched up, and I'm just afraid you might break the scoreboards thing I'm afraid of.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's always fun when you play crosstown rivals, and, you know, I talk about it all the time, is that, you know, Killeen is so different because it's like you play 3 in 1 year instead of having 1 or 2 that you play. So it's fun, though. The kids love it. You know, the community loves it. My defense coordinator from last year, when I was in Odessa, is on that staff. And so that just makes it even funner. So looking forward to a great ball game.
Well, of course, the kids... You have the seniors playing in their last home game, so that's always a big thing for them. And we've talked about your seniors already, and I'm looking at cards from colleges all over the state of Texas and all over the country here. Scouts and guys, the coaches have been invited to look at your kids, and that's always a great thing, Coach. You're doing a great job.
Well, I appreciate that. I tell you what, you know, anytime you can get those guys in here to watch your players, it's good for not only one kid, but for all kids, because it doesn't matter if they're on your team or on the other team. The attention that they're giving to the game is going to be beneficial for kids. And so anytime we can get, you know, guys in here to help further the education of our young men and their playing careers, we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and you look at the stats, we were talking about that before we went on the air. You've got your defensive line if you look at the stats, they're doing wonderful.
I'll tell you what, they really are. You know, we were meeting the other day and just looking at our stats on defense, and you know, we've got a junior linebacker in Matthew Moore who has 104 tackles. You know, the leading tackler in the district has 109. And then the second place tackler has 105. So there's not much differentiation between the first and the third guy in the district as far as tackles are concerned. And then, you know, you look at Tizino and what he's done this year. I mean, he fills up every stat line that we have, you know, and he's just an amazing player and has done a great job. This year he's got 7 sacks right now, leading the district. 28 tackles for loss, 19 pressures, 4 forced fumbled, 1 return for a touchdown, 2 pass breakups. I mean, there's not much that the kid can't do. And Brendan Bett also is right behind him and having a terrific year as far as the defensive line is concerned. We were looking at our turnovers. I mean, we've almost caused, I think, maybe 20 turnovers this year.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable. And so we've really, our kids have played lights out defensively.
That offense ready to put some points up against that Shoemaker defense tonight?
We're going to have to. We're going to have to because they can really light it up on offense. And, I think our kids have had a good week of practice, even though it's been a little rainy and a little cold out there. But I think we've had a pretty good week of practice, and kids are excited about the ball game and ready to go.
You got to tackle number 4 and don't kick the ball to him.
I tell you what, he's explosive, and we don't want it in his hands because good things happen when he has the ball in his hands. So they do a great job getting the ball into Terrell's hands, and, you've got to try to contain a guy like that. You don't stop him, but you try to contain him.
It's like grab and win when you're trying to tackle him. I'll tell you what.
When you watch him on film, that's exactly right. We've seen guys right in front of him, and he can make you miss and go the distance. And so, like I said, you try to corral him and get 3 or 4 hats to the ball and not leave your defense in one-on-one tackling situations with him.
So what's the game plan here? We're going to be back to talk to you next week, folks. We're going to have another show, wrap up the season next week. But I want to know the game plan for tonight. What have you got to do?
Well, like I said, we've got to contain those guys on offense. We got to limit the amount of times that they have the football. And on offense, we've got to find some consistency and be efficient in the red zone and get the ball in the end zone. It's going to be important that we get off to a fast start. And so our kids have to be fully focused and locked in and ready to go.
We're awful proud of everything you've done for the program this year, stepping in when you did late in the season, more or less, preseason, and you've built the program already in just the short time you've been here. Respect is back at Ellison High School when you walk on the field, and when you look across on the sidelines, people know that there's a coach here at Ellison now. We appreciate that a whole lot. Speaking for the alumni and the city and for I-14 Sports.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to many more successful years.
Oh, yeah.
We're only, it's the tip of the iceberg right now. And so we look to really do some really, really good things here at Ellison High School. And like I said, I love everything about it.
All right, go out there and beat Toby. I'm getting ready to go talk to him, and I'm going to go over there and tell him my Ellison Eagle green blood is going to beat his Shoemaker of blue blood over there. So we'll just see how he takes that. But I'm 100% behind you. Got Eagles, 2 Eagles in a row up in the booth. So 3 Eagles if you count the one on the sideline.
There you go.
We're heavy, baby. We're ready to go. So give me that pregame.
Hey, we got to go out and play great, consistent offense and defense. Be efficient in the red zone. Play great transition defense. Don't get bothered by the schizophrenic nature of the game because things are going to happen, good and bad, but we only play one way. And so we've got to play 100% no matter, what the emotions of the game bring about. And we've got to finish on offense, finish on defense, and like I said, limit their opportunities to put the ball in the end zone.
Appreciate you, Danny.
Go Eagles.